So these meetings are about just inescapably what's appearing to happen. This intimately and immediately just what is, and however that appears to be. And that is to say, this is it. This is the mystery. And it would seem like saying that this is a mystery for the vast majority of people, that is that it's not a mystery, that it's knowable, that this is life and I'm living it and I'm getting through it, and I'm and that life is lived in a linear path. I've come from a past, I have my story, and I'm going to somewhere. And for some, there can be a sort of a yearning in that. There can be a felt feeling of directing their lives, of trying to fill that gap of yearning. That can be how it's described, how it can be felt, that there's something missing. I am missing something, and that can be how it appears to be. And it seems like spirituality comes along as one of those that suggests an antidote for that feeling of yearning, that suggests that there's an answer to that gap. And then I suppose that can be what's described as seeking, and that seeking to make a life better, seeking to make my life better through methods, processes, paths, insights, wisdom, whatever, psychedelics, any kind of path that will lead. And essentially, they all add up to anything but this, because it can't be this. And that's not a doing, that's a held happening, that this can't be it. It can't be this. And that's a held psychosomatic, we'll say, energetic happening, that this can't be it. It cannot be this. And so the seeking can take a gazillion forms, it seems. And somehow or another, let's just say, there's a stumbling upon a communication called non-duality. And at the core of what that communication suggests is that this is already whole, and this is already complete, and that there is no you and life. There's just life, just what's appearing to happen. And what can happen upon hearing that is that it's utterly dismissed, or a sort of a grappling with that suggestion. And in a way, there can be a movement towards wanting to get to the bottom of that, to understand that, or to have that, because perhaps that then represents a way out of feeling how you're feeling, let's just say, and that there's something in the communication for that seeking energy. And so I suppose the suggestion at these meetings is that there is already no self, that there's no one in there that can fill that gap, or to whom that gap can be filled. For there's no one in there yearning. There's just yearning, there's just seeking, and that's just happening. And that's just how it appears to be. And that's the suggestion being made here, that already there's no one. So, and what's left when that seeking appears to stop? Well, what's left is what always was, and what always is, just what appears to be: breathing, feelings, thoughts. And that the mystery then is as everything. The mystery as simply hearing a voice, thoughts, sensations, and inescapably, immediately, just this, just what is, however that appears to be. So let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about that suggestion. Let's have a chat about anything that's there to be talked about. So if you have a question, just, unmute yourself and jump on in, or if you have a comment, just go for it. And let's see what happens. Let's see what unfolds here. You can also put a comment in the chatty section, and I'll get to that when I get to that. This is a question. Hi, Frank. Do you think healing the self is not important? There's the suggestion being made here is that there is just what appears to happen, and that and it sort of exposes the endlessness of trying to heal that which cannot, which isn't. And that's what's suggested here, that there is no self that can be healed. But it's also what's also said here is that there is what appears to be happening. And so if there is that feeling of wanting to heal the self and do all that with the self, then good luck with that. That's great. Sometimes when questions like that are asked, there's kind of a wanting, I think, wanting for it to be validated. So if healing the self is important there, then healing the self is important there. Here, that's not, it's not anything at all. Do you think there is a third eye? No, I have no view of any of that. It always has to be something other. It always has to be a third, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh eye, anything, everything, but fucking this. Anything but this. That's essentially the story maker. And that's the entirety of it. Anything but this. This can't be it. It has to be something other and better. And it has to be a third eye. The self has to be healed. And it's just endless, endless, endless. Boundless stories.
Oh yeah, hello Frank.
Hi.
And those stories, just to comment, it's exhausting. Yeah, that's it. Just a comment. Okay.
Thank you. I think the heaviness of the held story, that's the held story carried around all the time. That's where it's truly exhausting. But there's no kind of, oh, I'm going to get rid of the story or do anything about the story or whatever. That's just how it appears to be. But I think that's the exhaustion. And here, the stories can be exposed for being just that, can be exposed for being just that. You could say that's what's appearing to happen in these meetings, but nobody's doing that. That's not an intention, Here's a question in here. Could you say seeking equals to resistance? Seeking is just what it completely what it appears to be. It doesn't lead anywhere. It's just appearing to be seeking. This fully as seeking. This essentially as a constant, it not being this. But no one is doing that It's just what's appearing to happen. That's how it appears to be. That's how it appears to be being felt and described. Like this is a description appearing. And the description is simply saying that life is just a happening, and that there isn't you and life. Now, on the face of it, that's a simple suggestion, but it's impossible because every other suggestion on the planet made, normally then it can be known. I can know then that there's no self, and this is the one that can't be known. However, there's a push and pull with that, and it's there to be grappled with, there to be chatted about. But that's that's what we can say is happening. But it's the impossibility. The impossibility is that already there is no self, and that's the impassable chasm. That's the gateless, let's just say, gate. That's the where no bridge can be made to it, is because it's already the case. It's already the case. And so then all those thoughts, all those feelings, everything that has ever happened is just this. You never did a thing, just life appearing to happen. And it can't then be known as a thing apart called life. It's not other than, but these are then just wholly as words. These are just words appearing. And I suppose this is a sort of a reminder, or I don't know, it's immediately, inescapably this, that it's already the case, including feeling that it's not. But what you're looking for is this. And that is shit. But also you could say that it's also already the case. It's also already known, or also already felt, that it's a sort of, that innocence is already the case. That unknowing is already the case. It's just that there's all these apparently held beliefs, held ideas of what this could be, should be, would be. So there's another from Bob Marley here. So I presume this is just sort of a joke here. But so how does one investigate there's no self? What you do with that is you get a load of scientists with magnifying glasses and a load of knives, and you get them to get in there and dissect and go and find the self. Okay, it'll cost you a couple of million, but that's the best way to go and find it. Good luck with that, Bob. It is completely immediate, so awareness does not exist. There's no distance, time, or space for awareness to exist in, no one to be aware of anything. That's lovely, yeah. It's so fucking ordinary and simple. And it's annoying because to hear that it's so ordinary and simple is because it appears then that that something has been done wrong, that it's been missed. But it's appearing as the feeling as perhaps something is being done wrong. It's so intimately the sensing of, oh, I'm missing something. It is just as that. And it's really all these words that are held to be real, that that you see, really, it seems to be that if here is felt to be the real, how here is real, that everything else is real. Awareness is a real thing. Consciousness is a real thing. Even the unreal is held to be real. And what you could say, these sorts of meetings try to, not intentionally, but that's what appears to happen, is just cut through all of that, cut through all of the concepts and ideas and all the learned and held beliefs that are just ripped asunder. And then what is left, all that's left is just what is, just this appearing to happen. And that's as much as can be said, because saying that there's just what's appearing to happen is also a story. Nothing can be, it won't be known then as a thing apart called what's appearing to happen. So as intimately as this can get, you could say all there is the hearing, the full on hearing. And so then the point of these sentences is not to make a point. It's as sentences, it's as questions. It's this aliveness, this utter aliveness that is no one's and utterly unknowable, and free then to be exactly how it appears to be. But that freedom also appear as being bound, and that it's not, that it can't be this, don't say it's this. And that's how this is appearing. And so then it's totally descriptive, not at all kind of advice or prescriptive or whatever. It's just this, then just this comes back to. And so then the linear idea of it going somewhere and the path of it, it constantly seems to return to just immediately how it appears to be being.
Morning, Frank.
Hiya.
Hi. I wish everybody was showing their video, because I think, for me at least, part of what you're describing is expressed in everybody's bewildered faces, at least mine. I am just totally bewildered by this, by what you're saying. At least that's the feeling.
You see, it's utterly impossible, because everything else, what appears to be, it seems to be that we're used to getting to the bottom of everything through books, through learning, through understanding, and so that I will know, and through having and acquiring. And this can't be had, because it appears as exactly that then, that it can't be had. That would also be this, but that's obviously horrible for that which is seeking. But that's what this is, just returns to, that it's just what is then. So then, in actual fact, all that's really being said here is that it's this: feelings in the body, sensations, and whatever is being felt. That's what is. But you can't have what is.
So normally when we have a conversation, there's a rule, an underlying rule that what is said is something that you can grok. You will go away with a satisfied feeling that you've got an answer of some sort.
Yes, yeah.
And here, everything that is said is impossible to walk away with that feeling. Or if it is, you probably then.
Well, there's something wrong then, yeah.
Well, I didn't want to say wrong, but I
is
want
there
to say
something wrong? Well, in a way, there's something wrong with what's being said, you could say, because really there is nothing at all on offer. But you can't have nothing. But even nothing, then the movement can be, well, I'd like a bit of that nothing he's talking about. You know, that can be even, so this is nothing on offer. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, but what are you talking about? Nothing.
Well, exactly. I don't think it's what presumably you can't talk about. It's what cannot be discussed, what cannot be known. And therefore it's just you've only got bewilderment.
Well, you see the wonderment from this perspective is, which isn't really a perspective, but that, you know, everything is as wonder then. So then when, you know, that arising, whatever was said there, that's no thing. And that's impossible. That's no thing apparently talking. And this is nothing talking to nothing apparently. So that's horrendous. What's much better is somebody with an authority who knows and it can impart to somebody who doesn't. But there's also a total sickening with that. Otherwise, there's no way this is, you know, there is a total, having been fed so much, there's a sort of there can be a revulsion to being talked at when the mystery, you know, is sort of just so, it's as everything. But then you see what can happen when words like mystery are used. It doesn't feel like a mystery, Frank. I want to know the mystery. I don't know. I mean, that's, you see, but it's impossible with words. And all you can do then is just, well, whatever description appears to be used is how it is then. But like really all we're talking about is just this sitting, breathing, talking. This here, not anywhere else, just immediately, inescapably this. But that appears as talking. It's as whatever is thought then about that. It's as whatever reaction, whatever feeling in the body. That's this. Jesus. Siri listening into my... So it's, what then are we really talking about? It's just, the problem is, it's so simple. It's so simple. What's been described here is so simple that the mind just cannot do anything with it at all. That really is at the essence, because it can't be immediately the thinking that's going on. It can't be what's being felt. It can't be that. And what's being suggested here, that it is that. It's whatever is.
Yeah, including the not understanding.
Including saying, yeah, the not understanding, including everything. It's just, you could say that it's like trying to grab nothing, or it's so simple that it just can't be understood because there is nothing to understand. And that's, but all those then can appear like something is being missed, but actually nothing is being missed. It's just, and there's a sort of impassable chasm, like that, you know. And really, it's felt there that there is a chasm or that there is something missed. Here, there isn't that. It's just, there's just immediately what is. But that's, you see, what can happen with even saying there's immediately what is that, again, something is being missed. So, you know, you could ring a bell, you could clap the hands, you can shout and roar, you can laugh, whatever. And it can't, you know, what is the impossible gift. Nothing is the impossible gift. It can't be given, can't be received, it can't be lost or found. And it'll never be held on to, although, you know, concepts are absolutely held on to, insights appear to be held on to, but that's also this appearing as that. So
yeah. So I was at Tony's meeting over the weekend, and yeah, I felt the same sense that of the futility of trying to understand, and it's even on a technical level trying to understand what's being said. Really, it's but what I was talking about with bewilderment and not being able to somehow see, as in see and therefore understand, or see and therefore know. That you know, there's no sense here that I can see or understand or know what you mean by what is.
you see, that's
and yet it is just what is.
That's beautiful,
including what
though,
I've just
because
said.
that's beautiful, because I do not understand that there is just what is. I do not understand that there is no self. I do not understand anything. And in a way, it is stunningly bewildering, because it's nothing is knowable.
That was my next, sorry.
Go on, yeah.
I was just going to say that was going to be my next question, if you like, was, although I didn't want to do it as a trap question or anything, but I was just going to ask you, presumably you feel the same.
Well, I don't
there's
feel
nothing
the same.
that you can.
Well, you see, in spite of all the bewilderment that's happening, apparently talking is happening, right? There. Apparently. But that it is like that all the time. It's like, in spite of the bewilderment, thinking appears to happen. In spite of the bewilderment and the wondering, a question can appear to be being asked. And so I don't feel or not feel anything, but feelings can appear, thoughts appear. And that's I suppose that when those words are used, it seems like it's a knowing. It's not a knowing. Nothing is known. But really the knowings are held there in a way of sentences like, well, it's still not seen or heard. Nothing can be seen or heard. It can't be held on to. So this is the incomparable. This now. But you see, in saying every single word, right, it seems like is objectified. Every single word. That's how it is. And there doesn't seem to be any way around that. But really, you know, the point of this sentence is not to make a point. It's trying to say nothing in a gazillion different ways. And that basically it's just this, including, unfortunately, the feeling of what doesn't feel like it's this. You won't have this and you won't not have this. There's just this. What do you think is missing? What do you feel is missing?
I feel that everything is in a sense missing. No, I don't know. I don't feel that anything's missing. At the same time, I don't feel that I get this or understand it. So I'm
Welcome to the club.
okay. I'm just, I understand what you mean by objectifying. Everything you say is objectifying. Words are objects, and once you've spat them out of your mouth, it's a thing. You know, it can be seen that way.
It seems
but
like
that's
that,
just, that's just the seeing of it. Where I feel that the brain is overworking. Is basically it's trying to turn something that is, as you say, very simple into something else.
Because everything else is something.
Yeah.
Everything else is a thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, wonderfully, that's just how it appears to be, being wonderfully and horribly. You see, you're already not in there doing that. That's just how it appears to be. So then you won't ever get this. You won't ever understand this. You won't be going around saying, "Oh God, I finally got it," because if you've got it, you'll lose it.
Thank you. Let somebody else ask a question.
Hi, Frank.
Hiya.
We're talking about immediacy. This morning, the BBC News was warning me about next April. So I'm thinking it's got to be the right thing for me to do is to chuck that television out of the window, and anything that draws me away from immediacy has got to be like a no-no.
Yeah, you're not getting that from what's been said here, though. That's you're coming up with that. The suggestion being made here is that there's already no one in there. So you won't arrive at a thing called what is, and you won't get away from a thing called what is. There's just inescapably the hearing of a voice. You won't have that. You won't lose it. So there's no path or process to hear.
The BBC News tends to wreck.
Okay.
Tends to wreck your message.
Yeah.
Tends to fight back.
It's not my message.
No. It's one to you, and then it's one to them. does make you feel that you have to live in solitude, and which again is part of this immediacy.
Well, if there's the feeling of wanting to be live in solitude, then that's what's arising. If there's the feeling of wanting to turn off the news, then there's the feeling of wanting to turn off the news. And if planning appears to happen, then planning appears to happen.
Yeah, the BBC News, like I say, it wrecks all of these messages.
You see, isn't it amazing? What's being communicated here requires absolutely no belief, no understanding, no getting to, no arrival, no fucking anything. It's just a description appearing. So, and the description is simply saying that there is just this immediacy. However that is, though, that's boundless. That what isness, boundless. And the boundless won't be held by an imagination of what boundless is, or of the word called boundless, you know? So what needs to be understood, believed,
Okay.
but really though, what needs to be understood or believed about saying that there's just what's appearing?
No, it's very plainly said there, and yeah, I'm not going to argue with it, even though the BBC News will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you plain, and
I suppose what this is horribly and wonderfully ordinary and simple, what's been described here, and all the knowings then about everything else are elsewhere. And you could say really that what's sought is just the total ordinariness, for sitting on a chair to just be sitting on a chair. But you can't have it. There's just that. There's just this. There's just this hearing of a voice, sounds, feelings, sensations in the body, whatever it is. And then outside of that, the stories, but, and it's endless. What really is sought is for sitting on a chair just to be immediately that, without it having to go somewhere, without it having to get to a better sitting on a chair, and without all the held images and ideas of what this could be, should be, would be, all the beliefs, all the learned whatever else. Really, what's sought is just the miracle of sitting on a chair, and for that to be exactly that. And you could say that's the relaxation, but it's so utterly ordinary. It's not a better sitting on a chair, it's just a sitting on a chair.
Frank, this is just a comment. When on those rare occasions when there is just sitting on a chair, the not knowing, it's wonderful. It's
you know, this idea of a state of, you see, what can happen is then the comparison between, oh, that was not,
Yeah.
that was lovely, and it's not this, but that is also this. It's also this.
Yes.
It's just happening. It's just, it won't be held onto, won't be grasped. Wonderfully, it won't be.
The ownership is nothing.
Even that just
It's
comes and goes.
Yeah, it's nothing. Ownership is yeah.
Yeah.
What all of this is about.
Mm. See, it isn't an experience. It won't really ever be talked about, even though it seems like, okay, there's a meeting, and but not much really is being said. You know, because it is as talking as whatever is, as opposed to a thing apart over there that can be talked about. It's so unfathomable that it appears then as saying it's so unfathomable. That's just absolutely gobsmackingly outrageous, that it's whatever is thought, felt, everything. There is nothing that's not this. And that then isn't a knowing either. See, there's nothing in there that can hold on to an inch of this, but some experiences appear to stick. Some ideas seem to be held on to. That's how it is then. Or that's at least what's being felt and described and talked about.
When the mind hears it, it sounds so brutal, but which is quite different from the actual experience.
Yeah, because the mind is so used to, we'd say the mind, it's kind of an odd one, but that let's just go with that the mind is so used to getting to the bottom of things, and some can be more analytical than others, let's just say. And so especially for, we'll say, an analytical mind, it would seem, of course, it can be gotten to the bottom of. And then there's a total, can be a frustration with that, because it's so obvious that it's kind of so obvious is a horrible word, but so obvious that there's nothing. And yet then even nothing is attempted to be grappled with and got to the bottom of. And that's just that seeking then, it's just that dis-ease just appearing to happen till. And this is, it's constantly till suddenly. This is constantly this. It's constantly doesn't, you know, go away from itself. It doesn't depart. And it really is that ordinary, wonderfully ordinary simplicity, really. But as soon as the mind even wants to, then all the mind can do with wonderfully simple is that, well, I can't believe I'm missing this. I can't believe, if it's so simple, I can't believe I'm missing this. But it is then suddenly appearing as the sensing or the feeling that I'm missing this. Now that would be this then. So then it's free to be exactly how it appears to be being, however that is. And without then all the held stories, held ideas, all there is just the total ordinariness, this sound of a voice, feelings in the body, sensations, thoughts, whatever is. But you can't have it. Oh, fuck. Sorry about that. Mm. Amazingly, it's the saying, it's not even ordinary, Yvette. It's as that. Yeah, every lock, stock, and two smoking barrels, all.